The concept of the backrooms evokes nostalgia for several psychological and aesthetic reasons. Here's a deeper dive into why they resonate so strongly. Number 1. Liminal spaces. The backrooms are a prime example of what's known as liminal spaces, which are transitional or in-between places. These might be corridors, waiting rooms, or empty parking lots, places that are usually experienced while on your way to somewhere else, rather than as destinations in themselves. These spaces are familiar because we've all encountered them in our everyday lives, yet they are unsettling when experienced outside their normal context. For example, an office building after hours, when it's empty and silent, feels strange and eerie. That contrast between the familiar and the unfamiliar makes these spaces feel both nostalgic and unnerving. Liminal spaces trigger nostalgia because they remind us of moments from our past when we may have been in similar environments, even if we don't consciously remember them. The imagery of the backrooms, endless yellow walls, buzzing fluorescent lights, and dirty, bland carpeting, could bring back memories of old office buildings, schools, or even childhood homes that had similar aesthetics. The nostalgia here is tied to the idea that we've been here before, even though we haven't, creating a haunting sense of déjà vu. Reason number 2, the uncanny valley of architecture. The backrooms are designed to be almost like real-world spaces, but with just enough wrongness to make them unsettling. There are no windows, doors are strangely placed or missing entirely, and the architecture feels repetitive and infinite. This subtle dissonance between what we expect and what we see can provoke a deep, instinctual response, often tied to nostalgia for environments we've spent time in but can't fully recall. For instance, many people associate the backrooms aesthetics with the 90s and early 2000s, when many public buildings had a similar, drab design, bland walls, beige carpets, and buzzing fluorescent lights. These environments might be reminiscent of places you spent time in as a child but haven't thought about in years, like an old daycare center, a mall, or even a relative's house. Reason number 3, retro aesthetics. A big part of the backroom's appeal is the analog horror aspect of the aesthetic. The imagery often resembles low-quality, VHS-like visuals that harken back to the late 20th century, particularly the 80s and 90s. This is a time period filled with the early memories of millennials and Gen Z, who are the primary audiences consuming this type of content. The colors, textures, and lo-fi vibe associated with the backrooms are similar to the visuals we saw on old TV shows, educational videos, or even cheap commercial carpets in places like arcades and grocery stores. The grainy, low-fidelity look of the backrooms also creates a sense of distance from the present, further feeding the nostalgia. It feels like you're seeing something from a long time ago, something that's been forgotten. The presence of slightly decayed, aged, or outdated elements adds to that eerie, time-displaced sensation, as if you're exploring a memory, not a real place. Reason number 4, collective memory and shared experience. Another reason the backrooms feel so nostalgic is that they tap into collective memory. Many people across different generations have grown up experiencing similar institutional spaces, bland offices, school corridors, airports, and waiting rooms, which creates a universal familiarity. Even if you've never been in the exact setting depicted in the backrooms, you've likely been in places that feel almost identical. This shared experience makes the backrooms feel like a common memory, something we've all encountered in some form. Because the backrooms are intentionally nonspecific and feature no particular landmarks or identifying features, they feel like they could exist anywhere, in any city, from any time. This generic quality allows people to project their own memories onto the space, which adds to the nostalgic effect. Reason number 5, dreamlike quality. The backrooms also play into how we experience dreams, particularly the dreams where you're wandering through familiar yet strange spaces. Many people report that they've dreamed of places like the backrooms, endless corridors, empty rooms, and nondescript architecture that seems to go on forever. The backrooms trigger that feeling of being lost in a space that looks familiar but has an unnatural, unsettling layout. Dreams themselves often evoke feelings of nostalgia, especially when they feature places from our past or settings that resemble places we've forgotten. The surreal, dreamlike quality of the backrooms taps into this sensation, giving the viewer a feeling of being in a place that's both real and unreal, past and present. Reason number 6, isolation and ambiguity. The backrooms also evoke nostalgia through the theme of isolation. In our memories, there are often times when we felt alone in places like school hallways, waiting rooms, or abandoned malls. The sense of being the last person in a space, or wandering a place that should be full of people but isn't, taps into a deep emotional state that combines nostalgia with unease. The backrooms also rely on ambiguity. There's no clear narrative, just the unsettling image of endless rooms. That ambiguity lets you fill in the blanks with your own memories, thoughts, and emotions, which often pulls from your own nostalgic experiences. Reason number 7, internet culture and mimetic storytelling. Finally, the backrooms have become nostalgic in part because of their spread through internet culture. The idea originated as a creepypasta or internet myth, and over time, it evolved into a shared cultural experience. People contribute their own takes on the backrooms, adding new levels, creatures, or stories, creating a kind of decentralized world building. This participatory storytelling mirrors how urban legends and folklore spread, making the backrooms feel like something that's always existed, even though they're a relatively recent phenomenon. The collaborative nature of the backroom story invites people to bring their own memories, fears, and associations to the table, which in turn deepens the sense of nostalgia surrounding the concept. It feels like a collective memory being built in real time. In summary, the nostalgia for the backrooms stems from a combination of liminal space theory, retro aesthetics, shared memories of bland but familiar environments, and the dreamlike, surreal nature of the setting. This eerie, out-of-place feeling, mixed with an environment that looks like something we've seen before, but can't quite place, evokes a powerful sense of déjà vu and melancholic nostalgia. Thanks for watching. Remember to like, subscribe, and leave a comment on what you want me to talk about next.